Yo, what's up everyone? I wanted to do a video um, showing off my builds and stuff, but I was thinking that to do that in a single video form would be kind of rough, just because it would be a long ass video. So I was thinking if I stream it instead, that would be a lot better in terms of being able to talk a little bit like more about stuff and show off a little bit more. So yeah, let me. I feel like we should we start from the bottom or the top? I feel like we should start from the bottom. Um, this is my lowest level character I got at the moment, which is um, a cold sword for hardcore that I really don't use, but it's more so for rushing the normal and nightmare parts. Um, yeah, and that's about it. So it's not something crazy or anything like that. It's very low tier gear for the most part. Um, Mostly based around survivability, I would say. Um, I'm as I said, I'm not really using this. I'm basically I had it for a while, a couple of seasons ago when I was playing only hardcore. So this is not something that I'm super proud of or anything like that. I'm actually thinking I'll give this whole character away to whoever feels like they want to have a cold sword on hardcore. Yeah. Not a lot to say about this one. It's very fairly simple. Blizzard as my main attack, and that's about it. Um, but yeah, not super crazy gear or anything. Just very standard, I would say. But perfect for nightmare runs and normal runs. She does a really good job of rushing the first two ports, and then usually I'll switch around for my paladin or something else and to do the hell part if I have to rush on one on hardcore. But yeah, that's the sword. Not a lot to see here. It's as I said, fairly simple and very budget. Everything is yeah, you could say the only really decent thing I have at the moment is probably the circlet. Um, it's not bad. It's not the best or anything, but it's definitely not bad. Um, Other than that, I don't really feel like there's anything on this build that's that good. Yeah, so that's the hardcore sword. Let's check the next one. This is my first hardcore character I made way back in season 1, I believe. No, not the first. It was pre-season, before season 1. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this. I haven't played a lot on him. I just played a little bit. Again, very budget gear on this one. Super budget. Nothing crazy at all. Just random shit that I found on the way to hell, basically. Um, yeah, not a lot to say about this either, other than it's for hardcore. I kind of like it because it has a lot of health and you have a lot of summons to kind of tank a little bit of the damage and help you out. In terms of um, gear, I wasn't really thinking about investing a lot of effort into him or anything. If I find something where randomly or whatever, that's what it is. I'll put it on. But other than that, I don't really plan to be using this a lot. Um, And let's check the skills. Yeah, it's, as I said, it's really nothing. We'll check the next one. The next one starts to get a little bit better. I was thinking about giving the most of the stuff in the wolf away as well to I don't know to who yet, but just to somebody. Maybe we'll do a giveaway on the channel. Because I do want to give that mosaic build I have on ladder. I want to give that away as well, because I don't. Once it goes non-ladder, I'm not really gonna be using a lot from it. Since this is my real mosaic assassin, or the one that has all the gear that I want to put on the one I have on ladder. So this one is like a full build, I would say. It's not fully done because I still am missing a couple of parts from the my ladder assassin. Like I'm missing rings and some other stuff. I can exact a couple of charms and whatnot. But yeah, let's go over this one. So of course we have a dual set of mosaics. This is the 3 Phoenix Strike and a 2 to Death Sentry. So since playing with other assassins that also uses the mosaic kind of ruins the game in terms of it makes it lag crazy and you can barely tell what's going on. So if I do come in a game with another assassin, what I usually do is I just switch to the Death Sentry, and that's all I use. I just use that and then put the Death Sentries around where the other assassin is killing if he's faster than me. So that's usually how I do, and that's why I really like this specific base for it that has this the Death Sentry, so I don't have to put any points into it. And the other one is a +3 to Phoenix Strike with 1 to Fade and 2 to Cobra Strike. Now the Cobra Strike, I found out it doesn't really work, so I was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna use that. I thought it was gonna work, so that was my thinking when I made this one. It was the Cobra Strike was gonna be an added part to it, but it's doesn't work the way I was hoping it would. So for that reason, it's really obsolete. The Fade is nice and all, but I could probably have found a better base for it with something else on it. Weapon block would have been much better than Cobra Strike or Claws of Thunder or something like that. Yeah. So for the circlet, I'm using a 220 with some Dex and Cobras, and we got a 15ED Sharktooth Enigma. Now I know this is not the most common base to use for Enigma armors, but on the assassin, this specific armor looks absolutely incredible. Like, I love this black and red and gold, which is hard. Is the few armors that gives you this specific look, and this is one of them. So that's the reason behind making it in this base, basically. We got a +2 trap, 10 faster cast. I don't need the traps. I'm just using this one specifically for the magic find, the life, and the strength. But really, we are gonna be using not that one, not that one. I'm probably gonna be using this one or this one, depending on whatever I feel like. But that comes down to once the other assassin goes non-ladder, then I'll start to figure out what I want to use exactly for which one and whatnot. This is all leftover gear from my previous Kixen, which had Last Wish and all that stuff, which is basically I disassembled that build in order to put this mosaic together. So this is just leftovers, random leftovers from that, yeah. Then I got, what do we got more here? Of course a demon limb, not that I really need it at the moment. Okay, so let's check. I got the gloves, 220, 10 gloves. Not that the 10 really matters, but it's just for aesthetics and looks wise, it looks mad nice having a pair of gloves with high stats. So that's why I put these on, and I'm wearing dual Raven thrusts because that's what the old assassin was wearing, but I will be switching those out and putting in the two rings I have from my online or from my ladder assassin. Those two rings will be put on here. Arachnids for some faster cast. Gore Riders, not that I really need them. I don't need the crushing blow or anything, but it is nice. They are nice. And they have a decent kick damage, so whatever. I'm using these for now. I really want to get a pair of Shadow Dancers, but they gotta be 2 skill with 25 dex before I want to switch them out. So that is the upgrade that's coming at some point in the future. Not entirely sure when. And of course we got a shitty CTA, or not a shitty one. It's okay. And then a spirit for bowing, and we got a little bit Allras, Torch, Annie. I believe this is faster hit recovery Allras, and then it's skillers for the rest of it, I believe. Yeah, and then we have some rest charms. Whatever I found that I had laying around, I just put on. Yep. And since on this build I'm not using a cube, I don't use a book a town portal either. So that's why I have my town portals in the belt, and I have a scroll here in case I do find something that I want to quickly check. I can drop 2 skillers, I pick it up, and I can identify it real quick just to make sure it's something. If it's something I want to keep, I can always go back to town and put it in. Now this does not work if you're playing with other people, and if I'm in a game with multiple people, usually what I'll do is I'll put the cube back in, I'll take some of the skillers out, and that way I'll be able to pick stuff up in case something drops that you want to keep. Yep. And for the skills, we just got the martial arts tree filled out, and of course we maxed out the Fist of Fire, the Claws of Thunder, the Blades of Ice, and the Phoenix Strike. And I put a point into each one of these because in the beginning I wasn't sure if I wanted to just stick with the Dragon Talent for releasing all my charges from the Phoenix Strikes and that. But I come to realize that sometimes when somebody goes hostile on you and they want to annoy you in the game, if you have this Dragonflight on and you already have your charges maxed out, then when you're putting when you're using the Dragonflight, it will still release all the charges, and you'll literally teleport right on top of this motherfucker who went hostile. So that really does help out a lot. Yeah, and that's basically it. This is from my Mosaic, of course, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I am looking so much forward to actually being able to put my all this gear onto my ladder sin. So she's only level, was it 87, and the one I have on ladder is like almost 97. So that one I would really enjoy. So let's check the next one. The next one will be this one. Okay, Fist of Heavens. Now this is also not a new build, but it's just I have had it for a while. I haven't really used it for a long time. And I believe I took the Enigma off of him. I did. I gave the Enigma away. Okay. But yeah, it's so basically all he needs right now is an Enigma, and he's back to being able to run again. But yeah, so this one is a little bit different than what you'll see most people use, but I'll explain why and how. So I used the Blessed Light because I really want to suck at this one and put a very nice jewel into it. Was considering switching this out for a CTA in a Divine Scepter base or whatever base, Scepter base that has the Fist of Heaven's skill already on it, but I'm still not sure if I'll do that. And we got a Shaker with an arm. Not really. You don't really need the reses that much, but it's just nice to overstack a little bit. So if you get hit with Conviction or lower res or something like that, you still have a decent resistance. A 218 amulet to hit the faster cast, and we got a spirit in a 45 all res Sacred Rundash. Not a bad one at all. No Enigma at the moment. We got the Mage Fist, which I've been thinking about switching those for the Trang Old gloves, but I'm not entirely sure if I want to do that yet. We got a faster cast ring, a little bit of mana, a little bit of resist. We got another faster cast ring with some resist and some strength. Basically, the more strength you put on your build without having to actually put points into strength, the more you get in vitality, which is your life. So I usually try to see if I can't put enough strength on my gear to where I can put the Enigma on without ever putting a point into strength. That is my favorite way to go about it, for sure. Some ethereal tracks that I found myself a while back. Of course, we got the Arachnids, and I got some offensive skillers, which helps me not put as much points into conviction, right? So once I put all the skillers on and everything, I don't have to put nearly as much points into conviction to get it up to the point where it actually is super efficient. So it's not counting the skills from these. If it had been, it would have been a lot higher. Yeah, and now that we have the Sunder Charms, I kind of suggest people max out their conviction and get it like as high as you possibly can, because it's only 1/5 efficiency on your conviction if you're using a Sunder Charm. Now, I'm not personally using that, but if I'm playing with other people who are using it, then they'll only have 1/5 efficiency on my conviction I'm sharing with them. But if I max it out as much as I can, then the 1/5 that it does give is a lot higher than if I only put it to 24. So, with that said, that's basically like we got shitty Annie and a shitty Torch in this one, because I've been stripping him slowly from for a bunch of random shit and switching things out and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know if there is any other things with this build I can go over. I don't think so. No, that should cover the most. Of course, we have the CTA as well, another shitty one, and a 44 all rest. Holy shit! What a fucking bow shield! Holy crap! I didn't even notice that. Okay, let's check the next one then. So the next one will be a Barbarian. Oh, this build is, I wouldn't say it's the best build of any kind, like by any means. It's definitely not. Like, it's very, very far from good. It's also very basic and very budget in the way it's built at the moment. There's a lot of things I could do to get better, certain things that would be a lot better for me. But that being said, I feel like just the way I built him at the moment and the way it works, and since it's hardcore and you I kind of have to not not put myself in too much danger. If I can, like, if I cannot put myself in danger, that would be perfect. But you're never fully free of it. But at least you'll, if you can nick or um, if you can, what's the word I'm looking for? If you can lower the chances of you taking fatal damage, then by all means, that is always the best way to go. And one of the good ways to go about that is having a build which is more a distance build instead of a close-up build. So with barbarians, usually you have like a frenzy, a whirlwind, or Circer or something like that. But after they changed around on a couple of things and did they they basically upgraded the throwing skills with the barbarian, it's become a lot better, and it's definitely caught up not to the other builds, but it caught up to a point where it's usable. Like it's actually you can use it right now. Okay, let's go over the gear. But first, I want to show this trophy. That shout out to Malik. Why the fuck I wanna call him Malik, but that's his. It's not. Uh, wow, I'm drawing a blank right now. That was incredible. Malik is his other account. That's not his gamer account. Never mind. He gave me this um, helmet back when we were playing before he got off and stopped playing, and I must say this is one of my favorite things that I have on hardcore, and especially the favorite thing I have on this like specific character. So let's go over the gear real quick. I got laying of hands. We got a lacerator for the amp damage, and we have a shitty areas, to be honest. We have a smoke for the resistances. We have the gold rod for the gold find and a magic land. We got a ring here with a little bit of life stole, some gold find, some mana, and some life and strength. AI is always nice for a barbarian. We got another ring with a little bit of life stole, some dex, some more mana, and a little bit of resist, which is also fairly nice for him. And I got a crafted ammo with some decent res on it. To the skill, a little bit of faster cast. Not that I need to cast at all at the moment, but it is nice. And then we got this Wraith Flight, which I haven't really used it before, but I kind of feel like it's decent. It's not too bad, and it was ethereal, and since it replenishes quantity from the weapon itself. Not that I really need that with the new upgrades to the throw skill, but now it just replenishes super fast, so it's super nice, and it works fairly good. And then we got some gores, of course. And for the swap, we got dual alleys with lem runes in it, just for the extra gold find. And we got some grand charms here that are okay, not the best, not the worst. It's decent ones, I would say. A 40 geese, of course. And Annie with some res on it. A high res barb torch. Some magic find. This one is fairly nice though. Oh, I do have these two, which are kinda cool too. I'm not gonna lie, I do wish I had them on on softcore, not hardcore, but that is what it is. It's okay. But yeah, I think that was most of it, and so we go to the merc. We have a tool for the Cryptify. So it switches between amped and decryptify like randomly. which is kind of nice, depending on what kind of enemy you're fighting. We got a Dorial Shell and an Ethereal Crown of Thieves. Yeah, it's for a hardcore setup. It's not too bad, man. It's really not too bad. And when you don't have to run up in their faces like constantly, it kind of does the trick. And we have 3.3k life, which is not too bad if you ask me. It's okay. Nothing crazy, of course, but it's decent. Yeah, don't think there is a lot more to go over with this guy. It's very limited. Um, Now for this guy, I would like an ethereal Lancerator for sure. I would like to switch this out for a rare one that would be equally good or better. I would like either having Enigma or I don't actually know if I would want to use Enigma with this one. Maybe Ford, maybe Ford or something else would be nice. I'm not entirely sure. I've never had a throwbar. This is my very first one. So and of course, a couple of upgrades for the belt, a pair of crafted gloves, um, a better Ariats would probably also be nice with a little bit higher lifesteal. But yeah, other than that, I would say like this is a pretty decent build at this moment. It's really not that bad. Yeah. And as I said, of course, there's plenty of room for upgrades for this guy. As there was with some of the other builds, there's plenty of room for new things that I haven't yet used. But we're starting to get into the more spicy stuff now. That's for sure. So let's take the next one. Would be this one. This one is also missing Enigma at the moment, although I do have the runes to make him one once this ladder changes. Yeah. Okay. This is definitely one of the more impressive builds in my opinion. I really like this. It's a Tesla build. Tesla, and big shout out to Swedia for donating me a dream helmet and a dream shield, which were back in pre-season before season started when the fucking Jar runes were like 2k a piece. He gave me these two because he stopped playing. So he was like, "Yo, you want my Tesla? Then I'll give you everything from it." And he was like, I don't want anything for it. I'm okay. I'll take it. And then I built it, and I was like, man, why the fuck did I not build this again, like myself? Like, why did I wait until somebody gave it to me? Because it's just such a nice build, and I haven't had one for a minute. But yeah, so we got a Dream Shield in a 45 all-res Royal Shield base. It's not the best roll on it, but it's definitely nice, like it's not bad. We got a dream helmet, same in a bone visage. I believe this one had 15 ED. I'm not entirely sure, I can't remember. I want to tell you a little bit of a funny story. So back when he wanted to make the dream shield and the helmet, he told me he didn't have a base for the shield. He only had the helmet base, and he was going to use this diadem he had. And I was like, okay, for sure. So I had this 45 all-res Royal Shield, and I was like, okay, let me just give you that one. You can have it for free, no worries. I don't need it. I gave him that one. He makes the shield, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's nice. And he goes to make the helmet, and when he makes the helmet, he tells me like, wait, it didn't make the rune word. I'm like, what do you mean? And he shows me the helmet, and it's the runes are in the helmet, right? But it's not a base, like it's not a gray item. It's a blue item he put it in. He put it in a jeweler's item without noticing. So it didn't turn into a rune word. It was just a fucking jeweler's item with the runes in, which were kind of hilarious. Like I felt so bad for him because the jar runes was worth a shit ton at the moment, like at that time. So it was one of those fuck ups that really hurt. But yeah. So we got High Lords for some Deadly Strike and all that stuff. We got a base for the Enigma. I just haven't made it yet. We got some Gore Riders. We have a Raven, which I will be switching out for the one that was on the Assassin. Then we have a Dual Leech Ring, which I have a new one on ladder that I'm gonna give him. T-Guards for now, but I don't wear T-Guards. It's because I probably did a Uber run. I would guess normally I'd be wearing my Badungos. That would be my go-to for this build. So I do use them for Ubers from time to time. It does happen. And what I usually do, I'll just switch out a couple of items in, so like basically to get. Oh, that was meant to be an exile. I just haven't made it yet. Fair enough. But yeah, I'll put like this one on. I'll put this one on, this one on, that one on, and then procs on fade, and I'm ready to go do an Uber. Yeah. We got some crafted dual leech gloves. So 20 increased attack speed with 10 crushing blow, some life, some mana, dual leech, a little bit of rest. Beautiful. And then I'm using the last wish. I put this in. This is one of those rune words I really was a little bit sad about, because when I made it, it was in a 15 ED base. As you can see, the ED on the weapon is 2 off a max. Like 390 would be the absolute max it can get with a 15 ED. So that sucks a little bit that it's 2 off a max, and then it rolled 2 off a minimum for the crushing blow. I would really wish it would have been the 70 crushing blow on this one. That would have been amazing. Yeah. But basically, for this build, it's all about damage and being able to proc the different, like the fade and the life tabs and all that stuff. And it makes him fairly invincible. I wouldn't say invincible, but he's just really freaking nice to play with. I do wish I didn't grab the Enigma and gave it away for this guy, but as I said, whenever we get around to having that ladder swap, it'll be nice, because and I can put all the gear that he's missing onto him, so that would really be superb. But yeah, looking forward to finishing this out whenever we do go to non-ladder. Let's check the Merc real quick. So we got a Grief in a 13 ED base. Really terrible roll on this one. I'm so sad about that, but it is what it is. We got a Treachery, and we got the Plague, and a G-Phase for the Borb Merc, which really works well with him. The Plague takes off all the curses, which is really nice. Yeah. And for the skills, it's pretty simple. Now for the stats, also fairly simple. Don't, like, it's because I'm not wearing Enigma that the rest looks a little crazy. But once you put Enigma on it, it goes back to looking normal again. Yeah, let's check the next one then. So the next one is the good old Pit Zerker. One of my first builds, and I would say one of my most complete builds too. It's in terms of getting the gear that are best in slot for this build. I've pretty much put everything I could on him. I don't feel like there's a lot more I can do to this guy. So let's check the gear real quick. We got dual hodos, a 38 and a 39. Then we have a IK helmet with a ist and a jam rune, so I don't have to wear a Raven Frost. Plus I'll get the Magic Find. We got a High Lords for a little bit deadly strike and increased attack speed. Of course we got an Enigma. This one is not in an superior base, no ED on it, because I used to have a 15 ED. This is actually the one that was on the Teslaton, but I figured out after playing for a while that it's not worth having a superior Enigma on this specific build, because he takes too many hits to the armor, so you'll have to repair it every like 10 minutes, and it's kind of annoying. So when it's not not superior, it doesn't cost anything to repair, but the old one I had cost like 900,000 to repair every fucking 10 minutes, and it was just not worth it in the end when you want to just be magic finding or gold finding, right? We got a pair of chance guards, up to perfect chance guards. We got a Nagel, and we have a Arachnid Smash for the faster cast to hit the 105 with the Barbarian, which is kind of like the Sorceress. That's your breakpoint you want to be at. You can go for 200, but it's definitely not worth it for this specific build. So we got a little bit of Magic Find and faster cast in this one. Perfect pair of Wall Travelers. And we have a Grief in this hand, which is okay, not the best at all, but it's okay. And we got a Isted Superior Fate Faceplate on the other hand, which is basically the one I use for whenever I hork a dead body. I'll be having this in my hand, and then I'll be tallying around with my hodos, so I have the 105 faster cast, right? So the two hodos is 80, this is 100, and then the 10 from the ring makes it 110, and 105 is your breakpoint. Then we have a bunch of Magic Find small charms. Most of them are 7s, but there is a couple of 6s in the top row. But yeah, most of them are... Oh, there was another 6, but this one is decent, so I didn't want to throw that one. So I can upgrade a tiny bit, but I'll only take other Bear Claw skins for my small charms. I don't want to put other skins on. This is definitely my favorite skin. And we got a 40 Geats. Got a decent Torch, decent Annie. We got so basically I have a full swap in here for my gold find gear instead, so I can swap it out for dual Alibabas with Lem runes and a bunch of gold find charms. More gold find charms up here. Oof, some of them are freaking nice. I'm not gonna lie, there's a couple of these that I really, and most of them I found myself, so I'm hella proud of that. And we got a decent Crown of Thieves, of course 2 Dwarf Stars, got another Nagel, a perfect gold wrap. Again, if you want to gold find, that's the way to go. And I have this, I never really use it. I don't find it that useful at all. And of course we have a leveling, so if I go do, like, let's say we do Bale runs, or we do some Diablo runs, or something with other people, I'll swap all my small charms out for some Warcry skillers to have, like, just to give everybody maximum life. And yeah, that's pretty much it. When it comes to my mercenary, I'm using a Insight for the mana, and I'm using Treachery, and I'm using an Andariel's. So the one thing you wanna really you don't want to have on this build is cold damage of any kind, because it'll shatter the bodies and you won't be able to hawk the body when if it's shattered, right? So I made very sure not to have anything on him that provides cold damage. Um, for the skills, we have maxed out battle order. We have a 56% chance on your item find, and then we of course maxed out the blade mastery, and we put 1 point into the 1 point wonders, and then maxed out berserk. Yeah, and for the stats, decent stats, not too bad. Can't really complain about this. Really nice teleport on this guy. Definitely like that. Decent amount of life, almost 5k health without the skillers done, so that's really nice. I like that. Now, there is, as I said, a couple of upgrades I can do still. 7% magic find for the small charms, and a couple other things that I can upgrade. But it's, for the most part, it's pretty perfect. I think we are done with this one. Let's check the next one then. So the next one will be the Druid. Ooh. This is also one of those builds where I'm pretty... Yeah, there's not a lot less to do, like, I can get for him. I can get a little bit better rolls on some of the rune words and stuff, but other than that, it's pretty decent. Now, when I was a kid, this used to be my favorite build. Like, when I started out playing the first time around, when I was like, I want to say 10, maybe 11 years old. Back before I knew what English, like I couldn't speak English or anything like that, so it was such a challenge. But this build was my favorite build because he turned into a wolf and it just looked mad cool. But yeah, let's go over the main gear real quick. So we have a pair of Dragoals, decent ones, not 100% perfect, but very close to. We got a Rebus tool, ethereal of course, not perfect either, decent. I found that this is probably the best way to go for the most part, and then for some parts I'll be using this one instead, depending on where you go really. Let's say you go to the Wellstone Keep and you want to like run that, I would not go to Wellstone Keeps without my Rebus tool. It's too high of a chance for physical immunes, and those I can't really do anything with if I don't have my Decryptify. So, but if I'm going other places where there is no physical immunes, then this is definitely my choice, for sure. I'll just love this. It really smacks. And another pair of crafted gloves that I can swap. We got a perfect Jalals with a 7 faster hit recovery, 34 ED jewel in it. And we got a almost perfect, it's 2 off a perfect fortitude in a 15 ED Kraken shell, pretty decent. This is also a decent set pair of string of eaters. It's only 14, it should have been 15-15, that would have been absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I'm using this for now until I find a 15-15. Then we have a Ravenfrost, decent, not too bad. We have a dual leech ring. It's okay, it's not really that good. We got a pair of perfect Gore Riders and a High Lords, and we have an okay torch. An okay Annie is not the best or anything. I will be swapping that at some point, and some max AR life charms for the most part. A couple of others as well, like the 5 faster hit recovery, 100 poison damage. That was a nice one. 20 life, 100 poison damage, not too bad either for this specific build at least. But yeah, it's not, as I said, not too bad. See, that one I need an upgrade for, that's for sure. We got a couple of skillers. I think there's 2 skillers if I remember correctly, and then the rest of them are mostly AR max damage. Yeah. Yeah. And on my swap I'm using Harmony. I don't really feel like it's necessary to have a CTA on this specific build. Just his life is super high, and the lifestyle on top of having the life tab makes it really hard to kill him. Yeah. In terms of, I crafted this one. That was a sad one. We got a near perfect Cerberus. We actually got 2 rip crackers here. Not the best stats on them, but self-found, so it's kind of cool. Another Eth Reaver's tool, just in case. I don't know what I'm using this for. We had the Botted, and we have an Eth Jalalis, but this one is super shitty. If it had been 190 plus, I would have upped it, and I would have used this one instead with a Sarun in it. I got this one. It's a 5 Fury, 10 faster heavy recovery, decent helmet, not good at all, but just cool looking. We got a treasury for our proc if we need that. We got a 13 ED Circer Grief. A little bit of, yeah. I have this base that I was thinking about making into a Fortitude and maybe switching the other one out. I haven't made that full decision yet, so I'm not sure if that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, let's check the skill tree real quick. So I really want to try something. I want to get a Metamorphosis with 3 Fury and like 1-2 Grizzly, so I can like not put points in here. That only, like, I save these 4 points basically, and I only put points into my Oak Sage, and then everything else goes in the shapeshifting tree. In terms of my mercenary, we have a treachery on him. We have an Eth Gaze. Not the best roll. It's okay, but it's, yeah. And we got Pride. Not the best roll either. That could have been better too. I wish it was a 20 concentration aura on it, but it's okay. Yeah. And for the stats, boom, boom, boom. Not too bad either. I'm not too worried about my resistances, because the resistances aren't that. I can show it by going to River of Flame real quick. But the resistances aren't that necessary with this specific build due to the life tab and the like high amount of lifestyle. And if I have 5,323 life with no CTA, and that's why I feel like the CTA is unnecessary. I'd rather have the faster run walk speed. So what I'll usually do is we'll get the orb going, so he's running faster, and then we'll switch to this one, and now he's running decently fast. So that's my way to do this specific build. Can't hit those motherfuckers, stay outside. Can we not find someone who's like special, who has like preferably conviction or something? Just stand here and see how fast we're gonna lose our health, right? You see what I mean? It's really, really hard, even with amp damage and everything. And now let me just use my, look how it'll fill up my life again. Boom, instant, right? So that, in my opinion, is the way to go with the spell for sure. And since you don't have need for Enigma with him, it's just, he is raging. Now it's not a fast build in terms of the clear speed or the movement, in terms like you don't have teleport, so you're not going to be moving through acts like crazy, but in terms of just running around, having fun, and not taking everything super serious, I really like this build still. It's mad cool. See, this is with the Corrupted Fire on, still run decently fast. Yeah, let's check the next one then. So for the next build, we are going on a Java-san. Ooh, she definitely has room for improvement at the moment. There's certain things that I really, really do want, but I want to find them. I don't want to trade for them. I want to be the one to say I found this and put it on. So, in terms of upgrades for her, that would probably be a couple of things. So at the moment I'm using Titans. Up Titans, 280 decent ones, not too bad. I would like to get a pair of ethereal ones at some point, not super necessary at the moment though. I'm using a pair of crafted gloves, which man, I wish this had +2 Java skills on it. That would have been absolutely beautiful. This specific pair of gloves just +2 Java skills instead of the ED. That would have been it. We got a dual leech ring, not the best. Definitely room for an upgrade. Not a perfect Griffins, but it's a decent Griffins, right? With a 5/5 in it. No, not a 5/5. It's a 5/3, if I remember correctly. Or like 3/5 +3 -5, right? It's either a 3/3 or a 3/5. I can't remember exactly. We got Cat's Eye, which, since I don't use Enigma at the moment, Cat's Eye is the way to go for the faster run walk and increased attack speed in the decks. But yeah, and we got a super sad roll on the Fortitude, because it's only rolled with 1 life and it could have been 1.25. Other than that, everything else is perfect, so that's why it's a little bit sad. We have T-Guards. I don't use Razor Tail. I put some points into Pierce instead. We got a Raven, decent one, not too bad. Alduers is definitely my preferred boots for her. The faster run walk, the life, and the fire res. Pretty much is all you need for her. And of course we got a Phoenix. Phoenix is for the redemption aura, because she is mana dependent like a crazy person, right? So to not having to slam mana potions and shit like that constantly, that's why I'm using this at the moment. But here's the thing, I do want a J-mod for her. That would be the #1 upgrade. Would be a J-mod and then a pair of 640s, not 340s, but 640s. So J-mod, 640s, and a pair of 2 skilled crafted gloves. That would be the main upgrades for her at the moment, in my opinion. I have a bunch of random stuff here that aren't something I'm using at the moment, but it's not bad, so I kept it just in case I wanted to use it or try it out or do something. Um, yeah, very simple though. See, so this is the 6 skills, but that has no freaking increased attack speed. I found all of these myself, which is annoying when you pick them up and you ID them and they have like 2 mods on them. One of them being the 6th skill, but the other mod is not the increased attack. Man, that sucks. I'm not even gonna lie, that sucks so bad. Yep, we got some laying of hands. Haven't used those for a minute. Haven't used this for a minute either. Haven't used those either. I don't even know why I have this. A razor tail, just because I used to use that in the beginning until I found the T-God, so then I swapped over. 200 ED T-strokes, they're nice and all, but I just hate having to repair them. That's annoying as fuck. What do we got for charms? Like a bunch of random shit, if I remember correctly. All kinds of random stuff. Some rest, some faster run walk, I know that. Of course mana too, because mana is just such a need in this stuff. A couple of skillers. This is all found. I've found all of this myself, so that's why it's not perfect by any means. It's all self-found. We got a shitty CTA, of course. That one, I'm gonna need that one on. Okay, I'm gonna need that on my. I'm gonna need that on my other character. So and for the mercenary, we have a Shadowplate Fortitude with 15 ED. So it turned out really nice. Not perfect or anything, but it's just the amount of defense is fairly nice. Got an Andes with nothing in it. Infinity, of course, in a GT. And for the skills, so I put enough points into Pierce to have 86%. I feel like that's plenty. I barely need that much, but that's plenty. And the rest of the points basically just going for the damage points at this point. Yeah. Gonna be maxing out, not maxing out, but putting the rest of my points into this one, I think. Yeah, that's about it, I think. Now, this build I really do not use for a lot of things. I basically mostly use her for cow runs, and I might do a couple other things with her, but mostly it's just cow runs. Hence why the resistances look a little crazy. If there's no, like, rarely any need for resistances in cow level, so that's why I've been not going too hard on that. And when you build certain builds and you make them for just one specific task, then there's no point in, like, for that specific task, there's no point in having max res and max everything. If I were to go duel her or something, that's a different story. Then you really do need it, but in cows, no need at all. Okay, so the next one, I think this one is my poison. Yeah. So my poison Necro, he is also fairly close to being complete. I need, let me think, I need 2 green 5/5s, preferably dice. One for my helmet, it got a white one in it, and then one for my Dark Force spawn. But yeah, so basically we got Old gloves, we got a Death Web 2/2, and we got a decent circlet 220 with a 20 strength on it, and we got Enigma, and we got a decent ring with some all res and some faster cast, and another all res faster cast ring, and then we have Arachnid's Mess for some faster cast. I'm using I'm wearing the Marrow Rocks right now. With a very decent pair too, but I am mostly using these. Well, I guess I was doing something last time I played on him, so that's why I'm wearing the Marrow Rocks instead. But I normally be using the Wall Travelers just for the extra magic find. I got a CTA. At least this is a 6-bow. We got an Ethereal Monarch, because I can't really be wearing a Monarch, a normal one. I don't have enough strength for that. And we got a 219 with some lives and mana, and the tiniest bit of cold res. Nothing crazy. But that's basically so I can hit the 125 faster cast, right? This gives me 30 as well, so that helps me up there. We got a Geats, got a couple of Skillers, all res life, all res strength, couple of Skillers. What's this? 7 magic, some more magic, a little bit of res, faster hit recovery, and res. Okay. Fair enough. I got a couple of these in here that I'm gonna roll to see if I can get them 4 sockets, which is basically I just make them into insights, drop them on the ground, and make an iron golem out of them. Got a couple of bases for White Wand, and I got a near perfect Bone Flame, +5 to Bone Spirit offhand in case. That's actually not for him, that's for my other Necromancer. Might as well just put that in here. This is for him. That's a +4 Nova, but I really wish it was a +5. And we got a couple more bases. Nothing crazy. This one is crazy though. For a PvP Poison Nova build, I don't know, man. This is really nice. You get that Fire Golem going with the Nova because it has the fire take damage. Shit, it's kind of nice. Yeah. So we got the inside is on my Iron Golem, and for my Mercenary, we got a botted Warpike. Not a good one by any means. It's just a fucking random one I made. We got a Treachery and a V-Gaze. And let me think. Got the CTA, yeah. Going for the skills. So just 1 point in everything basically. And we max out Poison Nova. And Poison Explosion, we max out the Dagger and the Corpse Explosion. Put 1 point in each of these. 1 point into lower res. And yeah, that's it. For the stats, not too bad. You can see when I switch from my other side. Oh, it's because I got the... makes sense. I got the charm on, that's why. Normally I don't have this charm on. So, without the 5 strength, you see how it's not gonna work out. Oh, it's not that one either. Wait a minute. Have I upgraded something on him? I put a bit of Annie on him, that's why. Okay, that's why I'm back to having actually enough to be wearing the normal Monarch. Makes sense. When you don't play the builds for a minute, you forget what you've done to them and what you are in the middle of doing. But yeah, this is not too bad either. I kind of like this build. Fun to play. Looks like it kind of looks like one of the coolest builds, I feel like, in terms of the attack, the skill when you use it. It's not like the fastest clear speed by any means, but it is decent enough to where you wanna So I usually make some skeletons and stuff, just simply for being meat shields, right? I'll use the army, but I only put 1 point in, so I can't make an army. I can only make a couple. It's decent, as I said. It's not bad. I do have the revives as well, so that way, the more I have around me, the less I get hit, and the more they take off all the damage, basically. And it's not like they don't do damage, it's just they are not the main damage, right? The main damage is my my mercenary and my poison nova. But yeah, it's fairly nice. I do like this build a lot. And in terms of pricing, this is not cheap to build, I would say. It's not the cheapest build, but it is one of the more enjoyable builds to play. It's fun, it looks crazy, This is actually the build I found my Tyrael's Might to complete my Holy Grail on. When I found Tyrael's Might, it was 165 magic find on this build, which is slightly crazy in my opinion. Now, what's next? This is a incomplete build that I'm missing a couple of items for, which is on my ladder mule at the moment. And once this ladder ends and we get to transfer all our ladder items to non-ladder, I will be putting a couple of things, like I need a flickering flame for her that I got, so I'll be putting that on her. I'll be putting a couple of other things on her that are gonna make the fire build a lot more useful, right? So basically this is gonna become a fire sork. Currently it's not a fire sork. If you look at my my skills, is all set up for a cold sork, because this is used to be my cold sork beforehand. I kind of swapped it out and switched it around a little bit. But yeah, so we got the Mage Fist. We got a... I am gonna use any shooters, fire shooters for this one, I think. But at the moment I got the 5 Hydra orb. And then we got a Kira's for some rest. We got a Vibers. I'm not really gonna be using that either, I think. I might switch that out for a... Fireball Ormus or something like that. We got a Jordan, a stone, Arachnids, we got a faster cast ring, and we got 3 to fire skill, 10 faster cast Ami, Phoenix, which I'm definitely keeping on her, just for the minus the fire resist. We got a pair of shitty tri-res boots. No CTA, that's right. There's a couple of skillers, nothing crazy. All low tier shit. Decent Annie is not too bad. So she's basically missing skillers, she's missing these shooters, she's missing a better armor. She's missing the flickering flame. Yeah. And the CTA. I was thinking of making Obsession and trying that out as well. And I'm not entirely sure if I'm still doing that. A nice base if we ever get a rune word that lets us make a rune word in a 2-socketed staff. +4 Hydra. +5 enchant. Nothing crazy, and one of the worst things to find is a not JMod, an A-mod JMod. Yeah, that shit sucks. Man, I would if that had been 4 sockets, bro. Whew, my Amazon would have been satisfied, to be honest. But yeah, so in terms of the skills and the stats, that's really not worth looking at the moment because he's missing all that gear. Um, but yeah, I will be upgrading her once I get all my ladder gear onto non-ladder. Now we are heading up to the end of the list where all the good stuff starts coming out. So this is my hardcore Hamadan, and the hardcore Hamadan is semi-finished. It's not fully finished, but it's very close to, which you could argue there was like a couple of things I could switch around and change out and do differently, but in terms of how it is at the moment, I kind of like the way he's built. So we got a Hodo, we got Mage Fists, we got a Crown of Ages with a 20 or 15 minus requirement, and then it had some res on it. I believe it was like fire res or something. And we got a 210 amulet to hit the faster cast. We got a spirit in a 41 res base. I'm currently using the Inferno Strides, but I really would like to get Hot Spurs instead. And we got the faster cast Ores ring on. We got the Dungos for the less physical damage. That's also the reason why I'm using Crown of Ages, is to reduce the physical damage. We got a decent all-res ring here with some strength, a little bit of magic, and some faster cast. Of course, we got a nice Enigma and a Wormhide. We're using a Pally, a decent Torch, a decent Annie if I remember correctly. No, not at all, a shitty Annie. And then it's just basically life and rest charms for the most part, if I remember correctly. Of course, we got a couple of skillers also, and small res, and hey Geets. We got a CTA, not a good one, a super trashy one, a Spirit Shield, and that's about it. We got the Ethereal CB for the insight, and a Treachery, and then Talrash's helmet. That's okay. I don't know why I got that on, but that's okay. And for the skills, we of course have Holy Shield and the hammers. We got the Blessed Aim and the Concentration, and we got the Vigor maxed out. I put 1 point into Redemption. The reason for that being is when you do bear runs or something else where there is souls or dolls, what I'll do is whenever you kill them so they don't get reanimated or something, I'll put the Redemption on, I'll absorb all the bodies, and then I'll move on to the next part of whatever we are doing. For the skills, not too bad, or the stats, not the skills, but not too bad. Decent stats, I would say. 11k hammer damage with this setup, not bad at all, because he's really tough in terms of not taking any damage from any of the physical or elements. Or he does take damage, but it's so little that it's a lot easier to control, and with all the full rejuves, feel pretty safe, I would say. Let me see. That, I think that was all. Pretty much, yeah. Now you don't want to use the charm for this guy, like the, what's it called again? This one. Don't want to use the Thunder Charm. That's what I am. The Thunder Charm for him, because fuck man, you never meet anybody who's really in the immune. I wanted to say, you never really meet a lot of immunes, unless you do Terra Zones in Act 2 or something like that, then of course you're gonna meet some, but other than that it's really not that bad. So I wouldn't put the Thunder Charm on your Hammerlin, it's just not worth it. His clear speed is already decent. Yeah, so what do we got next? Ooh, I like this build too. Holy freaking hell, I like this build. This is one of them ones where you just... I do use this a lot for cow running and that kind of stuff too. That's why she's not using an infinity at this very second. Once my, again, ladder character goes non-ladder, this is going to be an infinity for her. In case I want to do something that's not cows, I can switch my Hodo and Spirit out for an infinity, or I can put the infinity on my Merc if I want to. But in terms of the gear, this is a Lightning Nova Sork, so I am using a split between life and mana at the moment. I will be going full mana at some point, but not yet. Yeah, so we got the Mage Fist, we got an Hodo, we got the Griffins, a Viper, we got the faster cast with some life and some mana, a couple of reses, we got the Arachnids of course, another res, life, AR, Dex and cast ring. At the moment I'm using the Silk Weaves for the mana, I'm using the Spirit, and we got a 217 Sork with some mana and mana regen and all res. And then it's just basically, of course we got the Torch 2019, we got a decent Annie 1915, some Skillers, and all res and Skillers, and a bunch of mana and life charms. Oh, that's a beautiful, 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 beautiful one. Faster cast on mana, life and mana, cast on mana, life and mana, life and mana, cast on mana. Pretty decent. We got a semi CTA, and then we have a couple of spare items that I'm not really using at the moment. We have a ES memory, a Storm Shield, perfect Gyros, a perfect, near perfect Ishudas, of course a Geeds, and we have this random Circlet. Kind of wish that was better because it has a lot of nice stats on it, but it is what it is. Yeah, so for the Merc, at the moment we're using Treachery, an Andes, and an Insight. As I said, I will be switching to the Infinity if I'm not doing cows. I'll swap around. But yeah, it's hard to go back once you played on this character, because the 200 faster cast is god tier. This level of teleporting around is just, it's so good, man. It's so freaking good. So definitely my preferred way to do it is being with a Necromancer. If you have a Necromancer who has maxed out Corpse Explosion, and I'm on this one, you can empty out a full cow run in less than 2 minutes if you're really fast. Like from the time you go in the portal to the time you've killed everything, it's like 2 minutes. So that works out fantastic. Yeah, as I said, we got the 200 faster cast, 207. Crazy teleporting, crazy teleporting. Really nice. I am definitely sticking with the 200 FCR on this one. It's so mean. I know that if I'm swapping for the Infinity, I won't have the 200 faster cast, but that's okay if I'm going to like Chaos runs, for instance, or something like that. Oh, for the skills, we got the maxed out Nova, maxed out Static, maxed out Telekinesis, in order to get our energy shield up to once I bow and I put on the ES staff and everything, it goes to 95% absorb, which is basically what you want. Yeah, maxed out the lightning mastery, 1 point in the 1 point wonders, and that's it. Beautiful build, so nice, really nice, works out incredible. Yeah, I think we'll go watch the next one then. Next one. This is another one of those builds that are pretty close to being 100% complete, you could say. I do have a bunch of switch gear in here, which is basically for certain things. If you want a magic vine, if you want a whatever, right? So for magic vinding, I would put on the 3-port tel set. That would be the armor, the belt, and the amulet. And what we got here? No, not that one. We got some war travelers. Would swap for those as well. Put on the chance guards and put on the Oculus. Yeah. So for her, she is now my current cold Sorg. The fire Sorg used to be my cold Sorg, then I swapped it around because I had a Sorg coming off of the ladder that was a little bit higher level, and since the cold Sorg gear was way better than what I had for the fire, I didn't really have that much for the fire Sorg in the beginning, so that's hence why I swapped it around. But yeah, we are using a pair of tranks. We got the Fathom, that's 3 of a max, with a 5/5 in it, a blue 5/5 too. We got the near perfect Nightwings with a 5/5 and a blue one. We got the Ormus near perfect as well with the 3 Bliss and the 5/5 blue one in it too. This one I personalized because it's so cool. I'm just regretting now that it says personalized and it doesn't say my actual name. That is kind of annoying. We got a 29 Morris, and we got some tracks. We got the faster cast with some rest on it. We got the snow class, just for the extra skills. We got the Stone of Jordan, and then we have a decent Annie, a decent Torch, 1919, Perfect Sunder, a bunch of Cold Skillers, and some Res Charms, I believe. Mostly so, yes. A CTA and an Ethereal Crystal Sword, of course. This one I re-rolled like 17 times and it's still not a 6 bow. So I'm just keeping it a 5-bow for now. We got a Spirit Monarch. For these skills we have the 1-point wonders, and then we max out the cold skills, and we max out the cold mastery. And for the mercenary, at the moment I'm using a treachery, bulwark, and the insight in a matte bow. Just she stays alive better, if that makes sense, instead of using the Act 2, and I really don't need the Holy Freeze aura because I'm already cold sword, and I don't need the Might aura because I'm not doing that type of damage, and she really doesn't need to do damage, she just needs to give me mana. Yeah. Let me just go out here real quick. So for the a 7k Ice Blast, not too bad. A 16k Blizzard, not too bad either. We are missing a little bit of Cold Res, which I will be getting. I don't have the specific small charms. They are also on the ladder mule, but once the ladder mule goes non-ladder, I'll put on the cold charms and max out her Cold Res. But yeah, pretty decent setup at the moment. She definitely runs through the most things. You killed Diablo in one bliss, so not bad at all. Let me see. I do need to respec her and get all the stats perfect. I haven't done that. Other than that, she is pretty close. Ethereal tracks would of course be a little bit more nice, but yeah, not a lot of upgrades for her. And for the next one, I'm really proud of that cold sword. It's called Fuck You Activision because I couldn't call it Fuck You Call of Duty. That was profanity, but Fuck You Activision was cool, so that's what I called it. Next one would be my Necromancer. So the first Necromancer was the Poison Nova one. This one is my PvP Bone Spear Necro that is not completely done. It's missing some skillers, and I can't remember what else. There's something else it's missing. Not entirely. Oh yeah, it's an amulet, I think. We'll see that in a second here. Grab this and put it in here. So that was the +5 to Bone Spirit. I just want it on this guy because that's where it's supposed to be. So we got a bunch of random shit in here. Wisp Projector, we got the Raven, got a Stone, BK, we got some Water Walks, some Treks, we have a... I don't know why I saved that. Don't know why I got that either. We got a Shaco, we got a 220 shitty one, another shitty one, another shitty one. None of this is really worth talking about, no. So for the gear we got a Perfect Auto, we got some Trank Gloves, we got a faster cast with Dex, Life and Res, and we have a 220 circlet with some strength, some dex and some all res. All res is from the Umrune, of course. We got a 15 ED Dust Shroud Enigma. We got a perfect Arachnets. We got this ring on at the moment. I swap the rings around a little bit from time to time depending on what I need specifically. And I did max out my my dex for the block, for the max block, without having this ring on. So if I take the 15 dex off, it'll still stay max block. At the moment I'm using these, and we got a Spirit. Of course we got a decent CTA. So fucking close. If that, man, so close to being a 664. And we got a Spirit, of course. We got a 2020 Annie, a shitty Torch. I have a better one for him. A shitty fucking. That was my first skiller on that ladder when I made this one. That was my first skiller I found. 35 curses. Yeah. We got a couple of life and rest charms. And we have not that that matters. We got the treachery, the gaze, and the insight. But yeah. For the skills, we put one into clay golem. That's usually the golem I'll be using. Just 1 point in both of these. Then we maxed out teeth. We maxed out bone spear. We maxed out bone spirit. Put 1 point into the bone armor. We maxed out the prison, and then basically gonna max out the bone wall whenever he hits 99. We got the 1 point into decrep, just to slow people down. And yeah, that's basically it.
I can't do that here.
At the moment, without skillers, it's basically 4k damage with the spear, and it's 5k damage with the spirit. So
not in town.
The
Not in town.
teeth are almost 1k damage per teeth. Not too bad, decent. Nothing crazy, right? So, but I do really want to get a bunch of 30 plus lifers for him, because the extra life would be very nice at the current level I'm at. But having to level this character up is pretty painful, because you have to kind of rely on playing with a group of people, because playing with yourself, I'll show you right now, it's fucking annoying. It's just, when I'm solo it kills okay, but when the second you go in a game where there's like multiple people, let's say there's 4 people, this just takes forever. So that's why I do not use them a lot other than PvP, because it's just leveling this shit is, it's painful. It's very, very painful. I started him out as a Poison Nova build, just so I had a little bit, because with the Poison Nova at least you can go solo a lot more than with this. This is just not fun to play with against monsters, but it is fun to play with when you're playing against other people, right? When you're PvPing, this is just fucking fantastic. Yeah. Let's check the next one. He's closing in on 97 though. It's like halfway there already. But as I said, really rough one to be playing with on your own. Oh, now here is my current assassin, the one I'm using on ladder, which is what I will be taking the non-ladder Mosaic build and swapping most of her gear onto this build. And I'm thinking once I do that, I'll probably give away this specific build, everything on this character except for the circlet and the rings, I believe it was. Maybe not. There's something else I didn't want to give away from her. I can't remember exactly. Oh yeah, the Annie. Basically, we got some. Oh, this one I'm not giving away either. We got a couple of skillers. We got some decent small charms. Life res, whatnot. And then for the gear, we're using some crabby mosaics. +3 to Claws of Thunder, nothing crazy. You rather want Phoenix Strike than Claws of Thunder for sure. We got a pair of 220 rare gloves, nothing crazy either. We got the circlet, as I was talking about. This one I'm definitely keeping. Got an Enigma. We got the one-off perfect Arachnids. We got the Gores, which, as I said, I will be switching those for Shadow Dancers. We got the other Mosaic, which is, again, trash as fuck. 3 Blades of Ice, 3 it's stuff I found in the very beginning of this ladder. I just made it. I never upgraded it or anything. Because as it currently stands, this build is just annihilating everything. I do have the other torch on non-ladder that was at 2018 or whatever it was, which is the one I will be using whenever it gets to that point. We got an infinity base here, if I want to make an infinity. 3 skills, amulet. There is one for the magic find for the barb that I'm saving. We got a T-guards, Dungos. We got a pair of Marrows, decent stats Marrows. I saved them in case I wanted to go do an Uber run. I haven't tried her in doing an Uber, but I was thinking if I wanted to, then I use those for life tap. That would probably be a good way to go. As I said, I haven't really tried it yet, so I'm not entirely sure if that's gonna work out the way I think it is. We got a shitty CTA. Yeah. Got a bunch of ready to re-roll sets here. I got a bunch of Malrunes on non-ladder that I was gonna. Hopefully, we get the Mosaic build to go non-ladder, so we can actually make it a non-ladder. That would be amazing. And I just got back from like having a break and not playing for a minute. Like a month and a week I took off, and I got back. I had 1 Burroon when I got back. I played for like 1 week and like a little bit more than a week, and now I got freaking burrs out my ass. Like I've not had that many Burroons drop in that short amount of time at any point in playing this game. That was insane. That was literally insane. I still can't believe that I literally got 6 Burroons in like, yeah, no time at all. It was insane. It wasn't all burrs. There was like, I got 4 Surs and 4 burrs. I think it was like that. And then I just cubed the Surs into burrs. And then I got more Surs after that. I got more ohms. Kind of gave away an ohm yesterday, but other than that, yeah. We got this one that I will be using, putting on her instead of the CV that's not ethereal. We got a smoke on at the moment that will be swapped out for the fortitude I had in the other one. Same goes for the Andes. I had another one that I'm swapping this one. But I'm just gonna put all this stuff on the giveaway character. I think I do have another insight in a better base than this one that I'll probably put on her. If not, I'll make an infinity and then put the infinity on her instead. Yeah. Let me think. Oh, and that's of course for the barbarian, for my pit circler. I'm gonna put that on in his cube, so he has that when I go to level him. Another 7 for the pit circler. And this is from my Fury Druid. I had that one that was 320 with no life on it. I'm thinking I swapped that out for this one. What do we got more here? Random LS colors, okay. All trash. But yeah, this build, in my opinion, is the best build in the game right now. It's just, in terms of where you can go with it, there's like really no limits. Without infinity, you don't need infinity. You just kill everything. And now I do like the Hammerden, right? Like, cause it's really versatile and super fast and everything. And I had this discussion with a guy about whether this was the best build in the game or not, and he said, no, the Javison has more damage. And yeah, you're right. You're right. There's more damage to be had. There's more like um, there's like you can teleport faster and whatnot on certain builds and whatnot. Sure, lightning strikes, whatever. But if you start thinking about in terms of how much it costs to build those builds compared to this costs not. You saw the gears, but very fucking low tier gear in terms of 90% of it, and it's just the clear speed is crazy. But that's not the only part. It's the with the Hammerden, you go to certain places, you can't kill shit because there's like the walls are eating your the walls will be eating your hammers and you won't be hitting. You have to stand like walk around him and keep throwing them to hit him. This, if it's on the screen, it dies. If it's anywhere near you, it just dies. That's what I really like about it. It's the clear speed and how fast you can actually clear the whole screen for enemies without having to aim anything towards anywhere. The only major issue with this build is the lag and the kicking people out of the games and stuff. That is annoying. That is why it's broken, in my opinion. This is the main part that's broken about the build. Is if I play with another guy who got this build, well, one of us is losing connection to this game because we just can't play it at the same time. It's just impossible for some reason. So, but you see that how fast it actually clears everything, right? Like it's just insane. So this one, I wouldn't say it's my favorite build, but it's definitely in my top 5 now of builds. Like Assassin has always been one of my favorites, but that's Trapsins, right? Like Trapsins was always my favorite build. Of course, when I was a kid, it was the Druid, but now it's for sure the Assassin. When I got older and started to understand everything about the game, that's when I swapped out to the Assassin, just because it was, oh my god, the fuck. Okay, so we're doing an Uber Diablo apparently with no bow on. I haven't bowed. If you notice that my health is low. I would say we're doing a pretty decent job at killing him with no infinity, no mercenary, nothing. Just us alone. No healing potions, nothing. That's why I feel like this build is just so freaking good. Like,
Good evening.
you're not doing that on a Trapsin. There's no way you're doing that on a Trapsin. Yeah, with infinity maybe, but not with like basic no gear on. You know what I mean? Just that's impossible. You're not doing it like that. You're not flying through the whole game like that. It's just not. Ooh, this could be a good one. Nah. Ass.
Greetings.
But yeah, the gear for this character now is
Not
if
here.
you don't need the Enigma, right? So if you don't count the Enigma, how much does it actually cost to build this build, right? It is not a lot. You need a decent pair of boots. Nothing crazy, right? Like you could actually use any type of boots, basically. The higher the durability, the better, though. Just so you don't have to run up and repair constantly. And you can use any freaking base that's a claw and can go 3 sockets. It doesn't need no freaking skills. That's why I'm using this with like not having the right skills on it or anything. It's just random fucking skills. Yeah, and as I said, the gear is not that good. It might look somewhat good, but it's mostly just found. These gloves, I found them on Nightmare. I didn't like easy. But yeah, this build is crazy. Now I do wanna go bow myself real quick and put on my fade. That makes it look a little bit more realistic. So the stats on this kind of looks crazy when you 1 second. Now I do understand that there is a. It takes a little while to max out your charges. Sure. That being said, though, once they are up and running, like, you can basically run through the half the game without ever losing your charges. Wow, that was close to being worth keeping. The character screen always lies, but it does look cool that it says 8 to 31k. that looks insane. That's just the lightning damage, right? You got the cold damage, you got the fire damage on top of that. Man, I'm not gonna lie when I say this build slaps. Even in Players 8, it still slaps. Although Players 8 is a little bit more nice when you have an infinity. I will not. Like, that is definitely more nice. But it's so good. It's so freaking good. I can't see any other builds coming, like, increasing as much as this build has done. Right? If you look at the some of the worst builds in the game, which this was basically the worst build in the game in my opinion, like, or at least super close to being the worst build in the game, and it's come from bottom place, right, to the absolute top tier build, like one of the absolute top tier builds for sure. Like, there is just no doubt about it in my mind. Did I not press the top one? Is that what's going on? I did press it. What the hell? Oh, I'm an idiot. We got the Uber Diablo. That's why he's not spawning. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Ah, that's right. Makes sense. Yeah, let's go to the next one then. I took a little more time on this one because this is just one of them builds where I have to speak a little bit more about it. I have to show it in action and stuff because this is just fuck, man. This is the name of the character is Crashmaster King because that's literally what it is, but it is phenomenal to play. Okay, what do we got? Oh, we got my hammer in and then my traps in left. That's the last two builds. And both of these builds are pretty complete too, at 100%. There's a couple of things you could upgrade, but not a lot. So for this build, we are using Mage Fists. We're using a Hodo. We're using Enigma. We got the Chammed Shaco. I got really tired of getting frozen doing chaos runs and shit, so instead of having an rune in it, I put a Cham in it because I really didn't need the resistance. So I was like, fuck it, let me put this in instead. We got a BK, we got Arachnids, faster cast, strength, rest ring. We got some of my favorite boots, the Hotspurs. Love those, just need to up them now. Then we got the 44 all res Pally Curest Spirit. A 6 bow. My very first CTA on D2R. When it came out, this is my first ever made CTA, which is again super close to being perfect. Got a Vortex, just for the fuck of it, not because I needed it or anything, it's just for the fuck of it. We got a Geats, a couple of Skillers, nothing crazy. Got a couple of small charms, nothing crazy either. Shitty fucking Annie. Kinda shitty torch too, to be honest. But again, this build, fantastic. Love this build. Love to go rushing, love to do terror zones, love to do everything with this build because it's just so good. and I have 3.3k life, which with max res and max block, it is really just nice. Like, can't complain about this at all. Super fast, super easy to control, but the one thing I will say compared to the assassin, having to walk around enemies to throw the hammers for some of them, because they just like not getting hit, kind of annoying in the long terms of things, but once you get used to it, it's a lot more nice. And with Enigma, it definitely does help a lot. Without Enigma, this is just horrendous.
I am overbuilt.
Saw the ghosty boy over here, we gotta kill him. Good chance of a high rune. This is usually what I do when I run him. I just seal pop chaos for the most part. It's basically the easiest and most efficient way of forming high runes, in my opinion. Like, there's other methods too, but this is by far the way I go about things. I find it a lot faster and a lot easier to gain all the good, like the high tier good gear. If that makes sense. From doing. So we just teleport outside, teleport up through here, see the enemies real quick, boom, 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 all the way over here, hit the seal, boom. Now we can go back real quick, we can check if we drop. I gotta check that. No. No. Oh. Need a ID scroll. I can pick that up. You got anything down here? No, 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 no. 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 Yeah. Oh, now I'm gonna need another ID scroll. Did we not? Another one. Ugh. Ugh. At this point I'm just going back to town. That's too much to have to run around and look for.
Hello.
What do we got? Trash. 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 Oh, trash. Okay. But yeah, this, in terms of if you just want a build that's overall good, that can do basically everything in the game, that has no issues going 90% of the places you can go, this is the one, man. This or the assassin is just, the assassin is 100% guaranteed. There's no way you can go, but this, at least there's very few places where this isn't good. The what you call it, the maggot tunnels in Act 2 is like probably the absolute worst place to go with a hammer in. It's like the epitome of shit, to be honest. So last build is my traps, and this is the one I completed top 5 on the ladder with for the assassins. In season 1, I have to say, back when getting to level 99 was an actual grind, not without the terror zones. Yeah. A couple of things. I will be making affinity in this one, so I can have an infinity in my hand, in case I want to duel someone. And we have a pair of random tri-res boots. We have 40 geets. Nothing crazy there. My low-level dual assassin circlet, which is kind of fucking sick, if you ask me. What do we got more? We got the previous amulet I used. Yeah. Okay. A bunch of trap skillers. they could be upped for lifers, of course. That's one thing I would like to do. And we got a perfect torch, perfect Annie, some res charms if I remember correctly. Yep. And then we use the triangles for the faster cast. We use the faster cast rings for the. We need to hit the 102 breakpoint for faster cast rate, and the only way to do that is by having these specific things on. So you need the two rings with 10 faster casts. You need the 20 faster casts from the trangs, the 20 faster from the arachnids, and the 25 faster from the griffins, and the 20 faster from your amulet to hit that. But it is fairly nice. It is fairly nice. 2 off a perfect self-found griffins, can't complain about that one. 14 ED near perfect mage plate enigma, can't complain about that one either. As I said, the 220 sin skills amulet, pair of perfect war travelers, 2 plague claws, the +5 lightning sentry with 2 dragonflight and 2 mind blast on this one. And we have the 5 lightning with 1 blade of ice. Not that I need the blades of ice, but the 5 lightning skills together gives me 10 lightning skills in just my hands alone, and it's kinda insane. The decent CTA, need the the ethereal monarch because otherwise I can't be wearing it. Yeah. Now this build is probably it got a special place in my heart. I'm not gonna lie. This got a very, 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 very special place in my heart. It's one of those things that it's you played it for 15 years and you fell in love with it, and now it's hard to say that something else is better. Oh shit, what up fucking Blast? What up Blast? How you doing, man? I just realized you fucking wrote a message. Holy shit. But yeah, this build is one of the top fucking builds in the game. Just PvP wise, PvE wise, everything. It's so nice. I love this fucking build. It's the AFK build, right? Like you don't actually have to move. You can just stand still and put your things down and it kills everything on the screen. You don't have to do shit. Fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie, that is really freaking awesome. Oh shit. Nice. So, as I said, this build is blast. I'm telling you, this game is crazy. I played this game for 20 years. Right, like it's a 20-year-old game that they remade and put out again. And they remade all the graphics. So, they put this button in here and I can then switch back to how the graphics looked when the game came out. So this is what it looked like when the game came out. This is literally what it looked like. This is what I played as a kid, man. And then we switch it back to the new graphics. That's so fucking cool. Like how many games can you just seamlessly switch from 20 years ago to now, just with a press of 2 buttons? It's fucking sick. It was 840 times 600 or whatever it's called, the pixel thing. So that's why you got the black lines on the side. That was fucking hilarious. Yeah, 3,400 health, right? Infinity and max res and all the fucking damage reduction you need and everything, and you don't have to touch anything, it just kills everything by itself. stand there and let the traps do the work, man. Not gonna lie, that shit is fire. We got the near perfect fort. We got the Andes. We got the Infinity, and the skills, of course. Almost level 50 trap skills. So that makes for a nice 14k damage per trap, and I can put down 5 traps, so 14 times 5, right? Crazy. Crazy. And now they changed the whole adding the lightning damage and removing the lightning damage and whatnot for the traps, so the griffin's actually working how it's supposed to be working for a lightning build, which is, man, this is just insane. Let me finish it off by showing you the ranks on the world leaderboards, because that is like one of the more proud things. We go to the seasons. We are currently in season 4. Let's go back to season 1. Season 1, assassin. So we had 2 cheaters, right? And that's why I'm not number 5. Technically I would be number 5, but due to the 2 cheaters, I'm not currently number 5. But yeah, that was, what can I say, man? That was a tough that was a tough season. As you can tell, not even top 10 is level 99. So getting to 99 at this season, at this time, was freaking. It took me a long time. It was a lot of effort put into to getting here that fast. Yeah, super proud of this. I believe that was season 3 for the Necros, right? Season 3 for the Necros. I didn't play too much. I played enough to get on page 1, but that was about it. Again, not a lot of 99s for this season either. So, and I'm not sure what I'm ranked currently on the leaderboards in this season. I'm not even in top 10. Holy fuck. Not even in top 20. Nope. Am I top 30? Nope. Top 50 then. Wait, what? Oh. No. The fuck? Wait, where is my assassin? What the fuck? Oh, I'm right there. Number 26. Okay. I was like, it shows no personal ranking for this season, but I'm currently the number 26. That's pretty obvious. Crazy fucking game sometimes. Should be bugging out. Definitely not going for any high rankings this season. I just did not want to do that. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole account, man. Everything I've made so far, everything I found, except for all the crazy shit I got on the mules and whatnot. But yeah, man. You said you were playing. You're making. Okay. I'm reading it now. Making outfits on the GTA, right? I appreciate you smashing the like button, man. Awesomeness. So the game is called Diablo, or Diablo 2, but it's, as I said, it's like 20 years old. And it's one of those, it's, what do you call it? It's one of those, what do you call that? I wouldn't call it legendary, but it's one of those games that will never die. You know what I mean? Because it's lived for 20 years with consecutive concurrent player amount every year, and it doesn't really drop down. stays roughly the same every year for 20 years. What other game has done that? Like, there's not a lot of games that has done that. Not for the amount of time, and especially not when you're thinking about how old it actually is and when it came out, right? Like, it was graphic-wise, it was terrible in nowadays graphics, right? But it's just incredible that it survived this long. And they did put out that new Diablo 4. I don't know if you've seen that, but I played it for around. I played it for like 2 or 3 days, and it has nothing to do with this game whatsoever. It's a continuation of Diablo 3, which didn't have anything to do with this game either, really. So it's a little bit sad that they didn't take something that lived for 20 years and kind of said, okay, this is the recipe for success. Let's take this and remake, or like, not remake, but let's continue on down the road with this specific type of game, the way it's set up and everything. Instead, they went the modern way of gaming, so everything has to be extremely easy. You have to be able to get everything in 5 minutes. They don't want you to have to sit there and grind for stuff. And there is stuff, I've grinded this for a long time, and I still to this day have never found a pair of 640s. For 20 years I played the game, but I never found this specific item, right? That it's such a chase item, it's such a hard item to get, that it took me 20 years and I still didn't get it, right? So, and that is something I can appreciate, whereas Diablo 3 and Diablo 4, you have every single item you would need for your build with either day one, at the latest in the first week. You have everything you need. And for this game, it's like, hey, man, you can play it for a month and still don't have everything you need for your build. So it's just, it's a massive difference. That means that whenever you do find something good, you get extremely happy because it's so hard to find something good. Whereas in Diablo 3 and 4, you get showered with all the good items constantly every fucking time you do something. You get like a shit ton. So it doesn't give you the same satisfaction and same happiness and same feeling like you're achieving something as this game does. This game is just perfection in every part of the game. There's not a single part of this game I feel like is not perfected. There's things that can be better or change or stuff like that, but there's nothing directly wrong with the game, if that makes sense. Yeah, I really felt like going through the whole account just because I haven't done that for a minute. Haven't shown off any of the good shit that I found. Yeah. And to explain, level 99 is the highest level you can get in the game. So, and it used to take a long time to get there. It used to take like 3-ish weeks, maybe a month to hit 99. And now you can do it in a week because of the new way they set up the game, which is kind of sad. Took away from all the pros, you could say, that used to be high on the leaderboards. Very few of them still play because they don't feel the same connection to the game anymore due to the whole having an easier route to get to the end. Let me just see if he is interested in this one, maybe. Just want to see what he'll pay for it. So this is another thing with this game. Like, you know how we traded cars in GTA? Instead of trading cars, you can basically trade any part of gear you find or you own, right? So if you own, let's say I got this one, right? I'm planning on using this one, but let's just take this as an example. So right there is another player, right? I just went in his game, and it said he was needing an ethereal 4-socket base, basically, like this one. So I want to see what he is willing to offer me for this base, right? And basically, you can sell the gear by trading it to other people, but you can also go like sell it for real money, or sell it on this forum page called JSP, where you can sell it for the um, a current and currency they have on the site, right? So they have this gold currency on the forum called Forum Gold, and you can buy that for real money, and then you can buy items within the game for the Forum Gold, but you can also sell items to other people for the Forum Gold. So you can earn this gold, and you can basically sell the gold for real money as well. But I see people selling shit in this game for a lot of money sometimes. There was a guy who sold a ring for $4,000, like a fucking, just one of these, not like this ring, right? But like, technically it's like this ring, it just had way better stats on it. But he sold that for 4,000 fucking dollars, which is insane. Of course, as I said, I spent 20 years playing the game without finding the 640, so you could be unlucky and never find anything good for the next 20 years. You could also be really lucky and find something that's like worth a shit ton of money. So this is what he's offering me to trade, right? Like, so the fire thunder, shitty shooters I don't need, fucked up one I don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that.
Not here.
Hell no. None of that stuff he showed me is worth anything. So for that reason, I'm not gonna trade him. But since I'm a good guy, I won't be leaving without offering up something nice just to give him, because I don't fucking need it, right? So I just offered him this for free now. I put the green accept trade, so if he accepted the trade, it's gone from my inventory, and now he owns it, right? That is the basic currency of the game, you could say, or like the, yeah.
Goodbye.
I gave him that for free, kind of to show that what he's offering me, because the one thing I just gave him is worth everything he just showed me, right? But I don't, as I said, I don't really need it, so that's why I gave it to him for free, to like kind of show, okay, I don't need the things you're offering, but I don't want to be an asshole, so I'm just giving you this for free. And I usually do that a lot of times, like I'll give people free shit, because it's, unless it's somebody who's offering something serious that is actually gonna help me progress, I don't really want to like get paid for it, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather just give it away and say fuck it. Yeah. But yeah, you can create a game, call it whatever you want. You can see like this guy needs a quest done, so I'll just join him and help him with his quest. And basically that's how the game goes. So there's a bunch of quests, there's a bunch of acts, a bunch of end game bosses in each act, and you basically just complete each act and act boss, and you can always travel back to each place you've been. And you can then farm the areas for all the monsters that might be there. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm using a skill called teleportation. That's a sorceress only skill normally, but because you have the things called rune words, which is basically these. You put the runes in a white item that has no stats, basically, and when you put them in a certain order, and it has to be the certain, like, it has to go jar, ith, burr, which is the 3 runes that's inside. When you put them in the right order like this, it gives you basically a unique item. Like this is a unique item, right? That you can find on the ground. This one you won't be able to find that on the ground, but you can find each of the runes and then put them in the base and then create this item by doing that. Yeah. And there is a shit ton of combinations of things you can do in terms of your builds, right? Like a bunch of different. Each character basically have an X amount of builds you can build with it. For instance, the Amazon has like you can be the Javison, a Spearson, a bow or crossbow. Amazon, which there is a multitude of different kinds. It can be physical damage, cold damage, different kinds of damage, and different kinds of. Where is this thing I'm looking for? Oh, it's right here, right next to the freaking. So he's basically not a super high level, right? He's only level 42. But I can join his game because I completed this part of the game already. So it lets me join his game, and then I can basically what we call rush or boost him. So I can help him get to the end of the game by doing the mission or the objective or the quest for him while he's with me, but he's not coming down the freaking portal, which I don't understand why. Let's go back to town and see if he's gonna come.
Follow me.
Is he going in? So I made this portal, right? It's called a town portal, which you can basically make anywhere in the game, and you can go directly back to town. You can shop, you can do whatever you need. But you see how he's with me now, right? So I'm basically just gonna go in here, he's gonna activate the stone, he's gonna call in the barbarians. They're gonna normally attack him, but since I'm here, I'll just tank all the damage and I'll kill him for him, right? Boom. All dead. Now he'll get the quest, plus he'll earn a level. Now he's 43. And then the last boss of this part of the game is basically where I'm going now. So I'm gonna help him get this quest as well, and that lets him go to the next difficulty. This is called the Nightmare difficulty, and the highest difficulty is called the Hell difficulty. So that will be the next part he goes to, is to Hell. And it's basically just playing the same 5 acts in normal, then Nightmare, then Hell. And of course, you get the worst items on normal, better on Nightmare, and best items on Hell. And it's basically the premise of the game. It's just doing all this shit. And then once you get to know the game, you know like certain areas are better than others to farm certain items. Like specific items can be farmed specific places, and then other items you won't be able to drop in that specific area, but you can then drop it in somewhere else. Or, yeah. So this is basically the final act boss that we have to kill. And my damage is all the hammers. I throw these hammers up, and then whenever they either run into the hammer or they get close enough to it to where it can hit them, it does like 15,000 damage immediately, instantly, without. And they have basically zero resistance, right? Like they can't resist these hammers. This specific wave of enemies can, but everything else in the game can't. And if you look at the, oh, I can't even show you that. There's a line. I don't know if you can see it between the red. The red's, I don't know if I want to call it an orb, and the blue orb. In between those two, there's like a line of a bunch of lines that's almost filled out, right? If you look over the numbers right next to the mana, that's where my level is. So once that last little line is maxed out, that's when I get my next level. But since I'm currently level 97, right? So that's only 2 levels off a max. So next time I'll 98, and then 99 is the last level. But getting from level 1 to level 97 takes roughly the same time as it does to get from 97 to 99. Yeah, but this is basically the final boss. You see he dropped a bunch of items. Whoever picks up the items first gets them, right? So I picked up the ring real fast, so now I got the ring, right? Now I picked up that spear here. And he's saying thank you, so I'll say GG. Now I picked up that ring, right? So when you go to town here, the ring says the value is 900 and it says unidentified, right? Whereas this one has stats on it. So you have these scrolls. One is for town portals and one is for identifying an unidentified item. So I hold this and I press this, and now I see the stats that rolled on this item. Now the roll is different every time, basically. So you never know if you're getting something that's super good or something that's super bad, right? For instance, I can give you an example. This amulet called the Morris, the only stat that will roll on this one is the all resistance. It says 27, so 30 would be max, and 20 is a minimum, like the smallest amount you can get on it. So when you ID it, if it's 20, it's not worth a lot. If it's 30, it's worth the maximum amount that you can get for this specific item. And you can basically, you see, it said it was worth 900 before, and now I identified it. Now it's worth 2,645 gold. So I'm just gonna sell it because it's trash, right? I don't need that. The gold is not. It's nice to have gold in the very start of the game, but at this point in the game, gold doesn't matter anymore. And yeah, you have basically different shopkeepers in each town. This guy sells armors, weapons, and he can repair your items. And you have this guy up here was selling like sorceress items and necromancer items, spears and scepters and staves and stuff like that. Yeah. Let me just check if I have something for a pally. Pally. Yeah. Nope. Nah. I don't need that, so I can drop him that one. Yeah. Put this in here because I can't drop it. There we go.
Impossible.
He already had one? Fuck. No, okay. And then, yep, basically you can duel people as well. So when I go into a party, if I press this button, I go hostile, and we can then duel and kill each other. At the moment we are in a party, that's why his name is green, and I can't like kill him or hurt him at the moment. But if I were to go in the party and I press this one, even if there's 8 people in here, I can go hostile and kill all 8 if I have a good enough build for it, basically.
Thank you.
I guess he didn't want that. Probably had a better one.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Being nice to him. Man, that was on my ladder character. I had that. God damn it. fuck. Wrong freaking character. Jesus, that was not the one I wanted to go in on. We are going to leave and come back with the right one. That paladin is thirst. He is right there. It's a great trade. Definitely do that one. It's a massively great trade for me. This. So I got the purple one, and he got the green one. Now the purple one I can use for a specific recipe within my cube, and then I can craft these amulets. So it is one of those games that takes a while to fully get into and understand what's going on, because there's a lot of moving parts and everything. A lot of things you have to look into, understand, look up, whatever, but it is mad cool. It's a freaking cool game, and it's one of those games you can play for the rest of your freaking life. Like, I'm never stopping this. I'll play this till the day I die. I might not play it as crazy as I did in the beginning, but I'm definitely gonna never like let go of it. It's just one of the coolest games ever. Man, I think I'm gonna go to the gym, get my workout on. And then I'll be back later, maybe play a little bit, cook some food and whatnot. And there is an overall there is a storyline to it. Let me just do something here. So there's online and offline, but if I change character, create a new character, here we go. So this is basically your character creation screen. You have these choices. There's the druid, the sorceress, the paladin, the barbarian, the necromancer, the assassin, and the amazon. Each class has their own skills and their own specific items and stuff they use, and certain items go cross multiple different characters. You can use them on different characters, and certain items you can only use within one character or one specific build. But yeah, it's mad cool, and there's no, like, if I choose to be a barbarian and I go kill an enemy, there's no guarantee that that enemy will drop me a weapon that's meant to be on a barbarian. It might as well drop me a weapon that's meant to be on a sorceress, for instance, instead of a barbarian. So whereas in Diablo 3 and Diablo 4, it's what you call it'll, if I play the sorceress or the wizard, as it's called now, it's only dropping me wizard items for 99% of the time. If I'm really lucky, I might get one item that's off class from what I'm playing. In this game, there is no guarantee that you get anything for the class you're playing, so that's why the trading system is so important, because you might find the best item for the sorceress, but you're not playing the sorceress, you're playing an assassin. So now you trade this best item for the sorceress for the best item for the assassin, or like something else, right, that you can then use, which gives the game another layer in terms of depth and creatability and being able to gain those perfect items, which are super hard to gain and stuff like that. But that being said, I think I'm off for the day. I appreciate everybody who came by, and I'll catch you boys on another later date. Don't know if I'm gonna be playing Call of Duty anymore though. That's one thing I'm not entirely sure of. I'm kind of burned out on that shit. Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate it, and have a good day, everyone, and catch you later.